Like, let's talk about insecurities on this video, right? So, first, if you see me a little red, it's because I just went to a jiu-jitsu class. So you see me like red and scratches and shit. It's because I just got back and I got fucked. Right? It was my first time doing jiu-jitsu, and I got fucked, dude. Like, I, it was so. Anyway, all right. Speaking of insecurities, right? And how let's talk about insecurity. Let's talk about how to accept insecurities, but not only accept them, but also get to a point where we can see them as our weapon and we can use them in our advantage, right? So the first point that I want to make here, I have it here, but you don't see it, right? Because it's the lighting and shit. But what I have here, right, as you can see, is the conversation that I basically took a screenshot of it and I printed it out, and it's the conversation that I had with one of my appointment setters. If you're not in the agency world, an appointment setter is basically someone who makes appointments and gets appointments for you, so that all you have to do is just show up to the call and close them, right? In this case, I was selling a marketing service for this person. I collected, as you can see, 1,500, right? 1,500, and that was me basically letting him know that I collected cash and I collected money, right? I got another thing here, right? I'm sticking them out because like you cannot see them. So I got 5K, as you can see, right? 5K cash collected, and you can see this. And I got a picture of Florida, me going to Florida and meeting one of my best friends. And the reason that I'm saying this is because I want to brag and I want to show off. Not play. The reason that I'm saying this, it's because related to insecurities. One of the insecurities that I had, and one of the insecurities that almost stopped me from having the money and having beautiful experiences with meeting great people and having meeting amazing people. One of the things that could have stopped me was my insecurity. And one of the insecurities that I had, was my accent, right? My accent could have stopped me from having all of this. And this is why it's relatable, because, when I first started my agency, I thought to myself, I don't believe that I can close anyone. I don't believe that I will be able to get a single penny. People, when they hop on a Zoom call, when they book a call with me, as soon as they hear my accent, they're gonna hang up the phone and leave me. Those are the limiting beliefs that I had, and those were the insecurities that I had back then. I will not close anyone, and I will not be able to make it because of my insecurity. You might have different insecurities, of course. You might have something with your body, right? Gynecomastia. I have that thing too, by the way, right? That's why I have the perfect lighting here so that you can see them. No, I'm playing. So I have gynecomastia, and that's another insecurity that I have, right? People can see it, right? Whatever the case is, whatever the insecurity you have is, basically, you think that you are special, and that's the thing that is preventing you from. You think that you're not gonna get loved, or that you think that you're gonna get rejected, or you're not gonna be accepted in this world because of that thing that you have, and that's called insecurity, right? That was the case for me. So I went from, getting them from having that insecurity to actually be able to have these results in my life, right? So I don't believe that people have insecurities. I don't believe that people have limiting beliefs. I believe that I believe that insecurities have people. I believe that limiting beliefs have people. Because just as you can see here, hopefully you can see it because of the lighting, there's a man in the prison, but there's not really it's not really a real prison. It's an imaginary, right? It's a prison from the mind. It's not real, it's not tangible, but it's a real prison and it feels real. That's the same thing with people. We claim and we say that we have free will, but in reality we don't. We have freedom in those four walls of our mind, and we have freedom as long as we are inside of the jail, as long as we are inside of that prison. And every wall symbolizes an insecurity or a limiting beliefs. I cannot do X, Y, and Z because of this thing. I will not close clients because I have an accent, right? Same thing. So people don't have insecurities. Insecurities have people. Right? It's like a little kid, right? Let's say there's a little kid and he is super anxious. He's super worried. Every single night he sweats. He's anxious, right? He's super nervous. He's scared. Right? He's super scared to open the closet. To open the closet because he believes that inside of the closet there's a monster. So his mind believes that it's real, therefore it feels real. And it's the same thing with your insecurity. Right? Those beliefs of whatever the case is, you will not be successful, you will not have love because of your insecurities, right? It's kind of like the little kid. And another thing that came up to my mind, and another thing that a thought that this popped up was basically when I would hop on Zoom calls with people. When I would hop on Zoom calls, especially for my mentor, right? This mentor was basically gonna teach us how to sell, shows us how to become better closers and collect money, right? The objections and you name it. I would have this thing in my mind and I would be like, yeah, they're lucky, they have an accent, this and that, they were born here, they're lucky, they're gonna crush it. I would not be able to make it. But the reality is that when I would hop on a Zoom calls and I would hear the same students with a perfect English, they'd be like, yeah, like I was nervous on this call because I felt this and that, and yeah, it was too hard for me to ask this question. Or another person would say, yeah, like I don't know if I'm gonna make it because of my age, or I don't know if I'm gonna make it because of this. Like they would have these insecurities inside of them, and they would mention to my mentor, and I was like, dude, that is crazy. Because if I had a perfect accent, I would still have another insecurity and another limiting belief. Right? So I was like, dude, that's crazy. There's no perfect condition. And no one has a perfect condition, right? If you start to be like, no, dude, like you don't understand like my situation and I have this thing and dude, you're not special, dude. Everyone has an insecurity at the end of the day. The thing is, what are you gonna do with it, right? So the way to get over them, the way to accept them, is to basically question yourself, right? For example, with the same thing of the accent, right? I had the accent and I would work in this place, in the restaurant. Whenever I would approach the customers, I would try to not talk. I would try to be so quiet and be like, hey, guys, how are you? So that they wouldn't hear my accent, right? I would always approach them and you guys need water? And the reason that I would do that is because I didn't want them to hear my accent. I didn't want them to be like, oh, you are not from here, right? The moment that I would approach them, I'd be like, do you guys need more water? Sometimes, if they were nice, they would be like, hey, I hear that you have an accent. Where are you from? As soon as they would say that, I'd be like, fuck. Like, they know that I'm an immigrant, I have an accent, they're gonna judge me, they're not gonna like me, right? Whatever the case is, right? I would be like that. They would ask me, like, genuinely, it was a genuine question. No racist, no nothing, right? But I would be like freaking out. I'd be like, dude, like, oh fuck, like they're gonna judge me now and they're not gonna like me, right? You name it. So I would always have these beliefs. So that's why the way to basically break them and the way to basically not let them affect them, right? They can be there, right? The gynecomastia is still there, but it does not affect me. The reason why is because you gotta first question reality, right? You gotta first question reality and think to yourself, is this the big deal? Right? People will not like me. I will not have a beautiful relationship, amazing friends because of this thing. Is this real? Is this the first thing that people see when I go out or when I talk to people? Is this the first thing that people see? Probably not. Right? So those are the what insecurities are. So instead of letting your mind and your beliefs do whatever they want with you, you should stop and be like, okay, like let me ask myself if this is what reality is. You gotta ask, is this like right? Just ask yourself, is this the big deal? Because most likely it is not, right? And the second thing, so I would ask myself, I would be like, yo, so like, are people judging me or are people liking me less because they know that I have an accent? Truth is no, because the same customer that they would be like, hey, where are you from? I would end up having a good conversation with them. And then every time that they would go to the restaurant, they'd be like, hey, David, how are you today? Right? I had some connections, and then people, for example, like my manager and shit like that, right? They could see that. They'd be like, oh, dude, like this is a social guy. Just because I have a fucking insecurity, right? Quote unquote insecurity, which is my accent. Right? They could connect. Maybe they went to the country. Whatever the case is, right? That's the thing. It's like, ask yourself, like, is this the big deal? Is gynecomastia the big deal? Is whatever the thing that you have the big deal? Because in no shape or form that was the case, right? So I would basically question and change the perception of that as well, right? Okay, fair enough. I think that I have this problem, which is my accent and the fact that I'm from a different country. And I would be like, dude, like, because if you're like, if you come from a different country, you are like, you're broke or like, you are dangerous or like whatever the case is, right? You're illegal, right? All of these bad things, I would be like, oh, people are perceiving me as a person, as someone who's dangerous or like someone who's not smart, right? And that was the perception that I had. So I questioned that perception. The first thing that I did is I accepted it. And I was like, dude, I cannot change it, and I see it for as. And I see that thing for what it actually is, which is, I'm different, and that's it. But not only that, but I started to love it because I was like, okay, fair enough, I'm an immigrant, right? That's the perception that I had, and I have an accent. And I thought to myself, fair enough. Is there people that have the same thing that I have? Is there successful people, rich people, people that have a huge influence, dating beautiful girls? Is there people? Are these people having an amazing time? Oh, sorry. Are these people? Do these people have an accent? And the thing is, yes, they do. They do have an accent, right? So I started to think, okay, who are they, right? So I came out with 3 figures, right, that I admire the most. So first is Pablo Escobar, right? Everyone knows who Pablo Escobar is. He had a lot of money, a lot of girls, right? Fair enough. He did not do the right things all of the time, but he's a G, right? He's a gangster. Everyone respects him. He's like, dude, this guy, it's like, it was a goat. It was a god, right? So I was like, okay, fair enough. Pablo Escobar, he's Mexican. And, like, he still has all the power. Cristiano Ronaldo, right? He has an accent. But what? He's a millionaire, right? And Messi as well, right? He's one of the best players in the world. And even this country, right? Miami, he's playing in Miami now. And everyone's like, dude, Messi, right? But he's Hispanic. Oh. Are people rejecting Messi because he's Hispanic? They are not. Are people rejecting Pablo Escobar? And they're like, I don't want to watch Narcos because it's about, like, Hispanic dudes, right? People love Narcos. People love Messi. So that does not mean that they basically are like, oh, like Spanish speaker or anything like that, right? So I changed that and I was like, oh, fair enough. I accepted it. I'm different and I love it, right? I love it because now I can get to talk about the certain things that I did in my country or my culture, or they can hear a different accent. They're like, oh wow, this is new, this is different, this is not something that I am used to, right? They can see that. So now I started to like it basically, right? And it's one of the things that this book, The Magic of Thinking Big, I got one an amazing thing from that book, which is everyone makes an excuse, just like I was saying previously with the Zoom calls and with the experiences that I had with the students of the program. And on that book, it talks about people make an excuse related to the success that they want to have. So if they are too old, they say, I don't want to get started, or I don't think that I can achieve this because I'm too old. If they are too young, oh no, I'm too young to be able to achieve that, so I'm not gonna get started. Or whatever the case is, right? But the thing is there people that have the same thing that you have, right? Let's talk about insecurities. There's someone who has the same thing that you have. Maybe you're fat, maybe you don't have the things that you want, or you didn't have maybe life was not fair with you. So is there people that have the same problem that you say? Maybe they're too old, maybe you say that you're too young, or that you have an accent, or that you're fat, or that you are short, or whatever the case is, whatever insecurity you have. Is there someone on earth, is there a man on earth that is there a short man fucking a beautiful women? The answer is yes. Is there brown guys? Are there brown guys making a lot of money? Yes. Is there people with accent closing and making good deals? The answer is yes. So there's someone that have the same thing that you say, and the reason that you say that you're not successful, they have the same thing that you are claiming, and that's the reason that you don't have success. They have the same thing. They're dating the girl that you want. They're fucking the girl that you want. They have the audience that you wanted to build. They are making the money that you wanted to make. But the reason that you don't have them is because you don't take action, because of your insecurity, because of the limiting beliefs that you have. Oh, I'll do it when X, Y, and Z. Or I don't want to do it because of X, Y, and Z. Guess what? There's someone who just shot their shot, approached the girl, started the business, recorded the video, and they have the things that you want, just because your insecurities are stopping you, right? So the best thing to do is to accept them, and not only accept them but love them, and go question yourself and question your mind, and not only that but find evidences and find ways to be like, oh, you know what, there's someone with the same thing that I have, whatever the case is, cancer or whatever it is. There's someone with the same thing, and they have the same thing that I want, right? That's what I was able to do. And just like I said at the beginning of the video, these things did not allow me to having the things that I wanted to have, or pursuing the things that I wanted to pursue. I made money, I made great connections, and I've been able to laugh and have beautiful connections with people, just because I didn't let my insecurity, which is my accent, stop me. So yeah, you can do the same thing, man. So yeah, man, just ask yourself, like, question yourself, question your beliefs, find people that have the same thing that you hate, that have the same the same thing that you feel, your insecurity, whatever the case is, and just see them as an inspiration, and see them that it's not the end of the world. And at the end, you shoot your shot, man. Like, you can, yes, Messi can be successful, but Messi is successful and I'm not. So I gotta open the closet. Even if I'm scared, I gotta open the closet. You gotta do the same thing with your insecurity. You gotta go and shoot your shot. You know what I mean? You gotta open the closet. although it's a little scary and you think that a monster is gonna go out and is gonna eat you alive, you gotta open the closet. You gotta shoot your shot, man. You gotta record the video, and maybe, perhaps, maybe, just maybe, right? You're gonna end up with having the success that you wanna have, right? So that was the end of the video, right? This is a great book. I'm gonna be basically uploading summaries and the big lessons of every book or every amazing book, right? So I'm gonna be uploading this video. So don't worry about that. Don't read it because I'm gonna save you time. I'm gonna come up with the best lessons and a summary of the book, so that you don't have to read it all. And yeah, that was basically the video, right? Don't let your insecurities stop you, and instead you should make them your bitch, so that you can be the man that you always wanted to be and live the life that you always wanted to live. So thank you so much for the video, and subscribe if you liked it, and if you liked it, give it a like, and thank you so much.